Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Crime Monitoring and Oversight Committee calls for greater political will. Spanish Town residents crying for help to fix deplorable road conditions. Reggae girls less than 7 hours away from World Cup qualifying opener at the National Stadium. I'm Krista Campbell and here are the details. Lack of leadership, coordination and political will. Those, according to one member of the Crime Monitoring and Oversight Committee, CMOC, are part of the crime problem in troubled communities across the country. The views were shared at a recent town hall meeting in Kingston, and Herman Green has that report.
With the authorities announcing 2 new crime initiatives, Operation Get Every Illegal Gun and a new anti-gang task force in the past 2 weeks, the Crime Consensus Monitoring and Oversight Committee, CMOC, is again calling for more focus to be placed on addressing issues in troubled communities. CMOC's community representative, Milton Tomlinson, suggests that these communities are ready and desirous of change. He pointed to the usual spike in murders that precedes such initiatives.
But yet, when an entity, an organization, agency move into a community to carry out whatever intervention, they are always welcome. So it tells a story. It tells a story about leadership and the type of leadership and the will. Because we need as a people, as communities, to have that political will from both political parties and the commitment to move these communities in a big way, more than just the Zozos, police cordon and searching and that.
CMOC Chairman Lloyd Distant acknowledged the number of entities making efforts in communities affected by crime. As part of the call for community development, CMOC wants greater structure and coordination of these interventions.
Ultimately, everybody wants to achieve something, but they may be going about it in a different way, and sometimes we're stepping over each other's toes, so we don't get the effect or the impact that we want. So there's a coordination that's needed, there's an amount of alignment that's needed, and then the collaboration that needs to take place.
We need to have in Jamaica a national intervention committee where it doesn't really matter if the funds are going through a private entity. There has to be some form of regulation, understanding, and communication.
Another challenge Mr. Tomlinson pointed to was the lack of earning opportunities for violence intervention volunteers. He noted that while the police react to serious crimes, violence interrupters prevent crime, such as murders. He warns, however, that volunteers may be less committed as they still have financial obligations and commitments. Herman Green, TVJ News.
Another man on Portland's wanted persons list has been captured. On Wednesday, the Portland police conducted a targeted raid in Longwood District in search of wanted men and firearms. During the raid, 33-year-old Horace Kenton, otherwise called Weedy, an electrician of Muirton Pen in Longwood, Portland, was arrested. Kenton was wanted in a case of larceny of a motor vehicle which was committed on September 25, 2021 in Snow Hill, Portland. The police intercepted the vehicle in Manchonil on the same day it was stolen. However, Kenton managed to elude capture. Since the start of the year, police have captured 4 persons who were either on the wanted or person of interest list. According to the Portland Police, with the cooperation of citizens and robust operational activities, up to Wednesday, Portland was experiencing an 83% decrease in serious and violent crimes compared to the corresponding period last year. They are therefore urging citizens to continue to work with the police to keep Portland the safest parish in Jamaica. If you have any information or suspect any criminal activity, you may pass it to the Portland Police by calling 119-311 or the Port Antonio CIB at 876-322-9263. Despite a decline in COVID-19 cases, clinical coordinator at the Western Regional Health Authority, Dr. Delroy Frey, says Jamaicans should not become complacent. Dr. Frey says persons should use every opportunity to get fully vaccinated.
And there is no question, if you look at the numbers that we have seen over the past 2 weeks and what we are seeing here in hospital, that the people who are immunized are not coming into hospital predominantly. It's people who are not immunized. So we should use the opportunity to do so. And also, we should not let our guards down. Every protocol that we have been hammering over the past 2 years must be maintained in order to control this disease.
Dr. Frey said this is important because it's not clear what a new variant would bring, and so the necessary protection must be in place. On the issue of mask wearing, Dr. Frey said he has been taking note of public opinion on the issue. However, he calls for Jamaicans to continue wearing the masks as they help to prevent transmission of the virus.
During the flu season, we used to get a flood of especially children coming down with upper respiratory tract infection. Wearing the mask minimizes this considerably. In fact, if we were to look at the numbers over the past 2 years and compare before COVID, you realize that the number of respiratory infection has decreased dramatically. So mask wearing does minimize those transmissible diseases that we refer to as, aerosolized disease like the flu.
14 more people have died from COVID-19 in Jamaica, increasing the death toll to 2,769. In the meantime, 271 people are hospitalized with the respiratory illness. 29 people are severely ill, while 7 are critically ill. There are now 1,537 active COVID-19 cases on the island. The Ministry of Health says 83 COVID-19 cases were confirmed yesterday from 1,816 samples. The overall case count is now 127,377. Jamaica's COVID-19 positivity rate is now 10.3%. It's time for a break from the Midday News, but stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. The Ministry of Health says it's having difficulty convincing influencers such as entertainers to become COVID-19 vaccination ambassadors. Director of Family Health Services in the ministry, Dr. Melody Ennis, made the disclosure on the morning agenda on Power 106.
There have been calls for the government to use community influencers to increase public confidence in the take-up in the COVID-19 vaccines. However, Director of Family Health Services in the Health Ministry, Dr. Midday Ennis, says while some entertainers have been willing to publicly share their vaccination status, they do not want to be a part of the National Public Education Campaign.
So we continue to invite influencers to speak on vaccination, the vaccine program, their own experience with taking the vaccine. Some persons have come forward and others have not. We have invited persons to come, prefer to be in the background. They don't want to be upfront, and that's one of the challenges we're having.
The country is lagging in the race towards herd immunity as many persons are still refusing to take the COVID jab. Despite expanding additional resources in the rural areas, the vaccine take-up has seemingly not been improving. Dr. Ennis says St. Thomas is one of the parishes where residents appear to be not interested in getting immunized.
We have done so many outreach activities in that parish. We have gone from the area where Isaac Barron is located all the way down to Gallus, Luidas, Vale. We're really into the parish, and the yield has been extremely low.
In the meantime, Dr. Ennis says about 45,000 Jamaicans have missed the date for their second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. She says the main reason given is that the vaccines do not prevent infection.
The response is not anything tangible, you want to say, why they're saying, or they're adamant that they're not taking it. It's just, I can't bother feel at this point and make me take a chance and, I might get COVID anyway. So it's a very relaxed kind of mood you're hearing.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
We go now to Cody and Barrett, who has the Business Minute.
In the world of business, With government projections to have the national fleet composed of 12% electric vehicles by 2030, fuel company Fesco says it's cautiously positioning itself to be a part of the Jamaica Goes Electric initiative.
At present, to be honest, it's not a business. It doesn't generate a return on investment. Charging, that is. It's something that's subsidized by manufacturers of cars. And I'm not just talking from a Jamaican perspective, I'm talking a global perspective. The CEO of ConocoPhillips spoke about it, that there's no ROI.
Yes.
So as a company, we have to be careful. We can't just spend shareholders' money on ventures that can't generate a return.
And Evergo Jamaica has officially launched its charging station at Texaco Iron Shore in Montego Bay, welcoming GB Energy Texaco to the electric vehicle EV movement. This is the first of several charging stations to be installed and unveiled across the island. Its general manager, Kevin Francis, says the changes will not happen overnight, but with the company's framework and the building of formidable partnerships, it will create a network that allows charging electric vehicles anytime, anywhere, sustainably. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Cody Ann Barrett.
Now with the top regional and international stories, here's O'Shane Masters.
In the region, the Guyana government on Wednesday hinted at the possibility of exploring several options with the remaining oil blocks, including an option to form a national oil company. Vice President Barrett Jagdale, speaking at the International Energy Conference and Expo, said the previous oil blocks were given out on a first-come, first-served basis. But he told the conference the policy has changed given the discovery of oil, and that the remaining oil blocks will either be auctioned off during the third quarter of this year or alternatively used to form a national oil company. He said that the government has already received several proposals from large operators that are willing to work with the authorities in the country on the establishment of a national oil company.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your Midday Sports Report with Simon Preston.
Welcome back. It's now time for Midday Sports. I'm Simon Preston. The Reggae Girls will be playing at home for the first time since 2019 as they face Bermuda in the first game of the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup qualifiers this evening. Head coach Vin Blaine is still to decide on his captain for this evening's encounter, as Konya Plummer is unavailable for the upcoming qualifiers due to personal reasons. Alison Swaby is the vice captain of the squad. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock Jamaica time. The last time Jamaica played Bermuda in 2018, the girls won 4-0. The Reggae Girls will also face Grenada, the Cayman Islands, and the Dominican Republic in the qualifiers. Meanwhile, the Dominican Republic, who are also in Jamaica's group, started the 2023 qualifiers with a comprehensive 9-0 victory over Grenada in Santo Domingo on Wednesday. Alyssa Oviedo led the way for the home side with a hat-trick. The Reggae Girls will end the group stages of the qualifiers at home to the Dominican Republic on April 12. Across the Atlantic we go now, as Reggae Boy striker Kemar Roof and Rangers FC will face Borussia Dortmund in the first leg of the playoff round of the UEFA Europa League in Germany this afternoon. Roof has scored 1 goal in 5 appearances in the Europa League this season. Kickoff is at 12:45 Jamaica time. Reggae Boys attackers Mikel Antonio of West Ham United and Shamar Nicholson of Spartak Moscow have already qualified for the round of 16 of the competition. And to cricket we go now, as the Barbados Pride had reached 336 for 3 in their first innings at lunch against the Jamaica Scorpions on day 3 of the second round of the Regional 4-Day Championship at the Kensington Oval. The home side, who began the day on a 243 for 2, leads the Scorpions by 8 runs. Craig Brathwaite is leading the way with 181 not out, while Jonathan Carter is on 32. Raymond Reefer was the only wicket to fall, as he departed for 71. Jamie Merchant, Markina Mindley and Patrick Harty have taken a wicket each for the visitors. Scores in the match so far: Jamaica Scorpions 328 and Barbados Pride 336 for 3. And that is where we'll pull up stumps for now for your Midday Sports Report. I'm Simon Preston. Krista, it's over to you.
Thank you, Simon. Now, excitement at the National Stadium later. How are the Reggae Girls looking to you?
Well, they've only had 2 training sessions, so the coach doesn't have much time to put a strategy together, but the quality of the squad is still there. 13 members of the squad that went to the World Cup in France in 2019 is still there, so the nucleus is there, so the chemistry should be fine heading into this evening's encounter.
And Plummer is out?
Yes, Plummer is out alongside a few other players that were part of that World Cup journey, but we still have enough ammunition to get over the line this evening, definitely, with a victory.
Any wager from you in terms of your predictions about the scores?
I'll go with Jamaica 5, Bermuda 0.
Wow, okay. And tomorrow, Winter Olympics, Simon. What say you about that, our team there?
Yes, the four-man bobsleigh team will be in action. You know, they'll be looking to brush off the disappointment from the two-man encounter on Monday. It's still the heats, so they're going to have to put together a respectable time together to advance to the top 20. That's going to be key for them, to finish in the top 20 to get into the middle round. It's going to be tough, but they certainly have a chance to do that.
Lots happening in the world of sports for Jamaica, and that's the Midday News. I'm Krista Campbell. Join us again at 7 for Primetime News. On behalf of the news, sports, and production teams, good afternoon.